Hello, family and friends. Welcome to another episode of Mental Health Conversations with Nerat-Dagwi. And this is a special episode because it is World Mental Health Day today, the 10th of October, and I'm really excited. This year's theme is prioritizing mental health in the workplace, and I'm not going to be doing this episode alone. I have a senior colleague who is going to be joining me, and she'll be shedding more light on how we can prioritize mental health at work. So I will allow her to introduce herself, and then we'll delve right into it. Sandy, over to you.
Okay, hi. Happy to be here. My name is Sandy Dafat. I am a mental health practitioner, a social psychologist. Yes, and it is World Mental Health Day, like she said. And I am happy that the theme of this year's World Mental Health Day is prioritizing mental health in the workplace. So I'm happy here.
I'm also excited because since I started my advocacy journey, I have actually been, just a mental health advocate, but then I now started thinking, but I want to work in corporate. So how can I work in corporate and still be a mental health advocate? So this year's theme is really exciting to me. So prioritizing mental health in the workplace. And we're going to be taking this episode from the angle of work-life balance. Some people believe that work-life balance is a myth. But what do you think about that, Cindy?
Well, I think for them to believe it is a myth is because it is difficult for them to balance the work life and personal life, because when you're too busy, you don't make out time to balance your work and your life. So they believe it is something you cannot do because of how much workload you have or how much limited time you have. So they believe it is not possible to have a work-life balance.
Yeah, we're friends on basically all social media, and I've seen you take your personal life very, very serious. So how has the definition of work-life balance evolved for you? Like, what do you believe about it? What does it mean to you?
So the truth of the matter is, if you're in this, like I used to say, this life I have chosen, like being a psychotherapist and all of that, if you're in this line of job and you're not taking your work-life balance very, very serious, trust me, you're going to lose your mind, literally, because you have to create a balance between your work and then your life. So you make out time for the things that connect you to yourself. You cannot pour out from an empty cup. So prioritize yourself. It is a different thing for different people. Like work-life balance is different thing for different people. What do you find relaxing? What connects you to yourself? So once you begin to figure out these things, then you find a way to incorporate it into your work-life balance. No matter how busy you think your job is, there's always room for that. So for me, I think most of my mornings start with me prioritizing myself, like creating a work-life balance, because I exercise in the morning. So it connects me to me. So for me, that is a work balance. And then I learned something from one of my professors in school, Professor Dagona. He said, no matter how busy you get or no matter the workload you have, never carry your work to your house. I know for some people it's still difficult for them, but for me, I'd rather just stay in the office to finish it, or to wait till the next morning. Like if I am home, let it be because I want to rest.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's already you giving us strategy now. Leave work at work. My mother will always say that when you're coming back from wherever you go to every day, whatever that doesn't concern the home, drop it at the door. Don't bring it in. And she said that is a way for you to protect your own peace at home. And I totally love it. That's really wonderful. All right, so there are some challenges that employees have at the workplace, no doubt. And the most prominent ones will be managing stress and also anxiety and burnout. So how can employees recognize that they are experiencing burnout? How can they know that this is the beginning of something that I should not be going through?
Yeah, I really like the way you ask the question, how can they recognize it? Because not a lot of people understand what that is. They feel it is just having too much work to do in the office. You don't really understand that there are signs of burnout. There are a lot of signs for burnout. You lose the motivation to do a lot of things. You're not concentrating, you're frustrated, you're stressed. And the stress that comes with burnout is not just physical, it's mental exhaustion. And once you're mentally exhausted, it has a way of affecting your physical body entirely. So having too much workload on its own and you're not making out time to rest, of course it's going to affect your body physically and it's going to affect you mentally. You're not, whatever it is you think you're doing, you're not putting in your best and you're frustrated, you're not paying attention, you're not motivated to do a lot of things. So these are just simple signs that anybody can recognize, but you have to pay attention to these things first so that you don't assume it is just a normal stress that comes with work.
Okay, that's wonderful. So some people believe that different type of employees in different industries go through different type of stress. Is it industry specific, the kind of challenges that we face when it comes to balancing work and life? And if there are particular unique challenges, what kind of solutions can be applied?
Yeah, there are industries that find it difficult to balance the work-life balance, especially if you run long shifts or hours. It's easier to do 9 to 5, and you know that, okay, before 9, what am I doing before 9? And then after 5, what am I doing after 5? But there are people that run straight shifts, like for doctors, unless they're on their off days. And if they're on their off days, some of them don't even want to rest. They want to do other things. Yeah, so there are industries, yes, that aside that, bankers too, they hardly have time. They work from, you have bankers that even work on Sundays in the mornings. Yeah, so these are just examples of people that no matter how hard they want to try and have a work-life balance, is going to seem impossible. But there's always a very small room. You don't have to have like the whole day to have a work-life balance. And a work-life balance doesn't necessarily mean you have to be outside, like we're outside sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yes, what do you do at that point to connect you to yourself aside you working? It's like a self-care routine you do aside doing that particular job. So for people in such industries is identifying that, oh, okay, yes, you have specific time. Maybe it is once in a week, twice in a week, or just very few minutes, maybe 3 times in a week. Then you make out time for that, and then what do you want to do that will connect you to yourself?
Awesome. I think you have even already started giving us some hints, because my next question is about practical strategies that people can use to set boundaries. Because if there's something that's very hard for us, I think, in this part of the world, is setting boundaries and sticking to them without feeling like a bad person. So what are some practical strategies that people can use to set boundaries between work and personal life? And then if you can say something about the remote working environment, because like work schedules and work environment has evolved and is evolving. So let's consider people that have been working remotely as well.
So creating boundaries in this instance means you creating a routine. Once you have a routine, you know, if you're going to protect something, it's like you're building a fence around that thing. So if you don't know what to create a boundary for, then there is no need creating a boundary. But if you have something you're creating a boundary for, which is you now, your personal space, which is you at that moment, it is just your life aside the work aspect. So when you create and say, okay, by so time, because you understand your schedule, you understand, unless there are emergencies or things that will just happen without you knowing. But when you create a routine and you follow this routine, you know that, okay, by this particular time, I am supposed to do this. So I'm going to start an example with me. I know I'm supposed to be in the office by 8:30. So if I have that involves me, and I know that once I am done from the office in the evening, I'd rather just stay in my room to rest. I don't want to have a human conversation that would entails me talking to other people, because I talk all through the day. So that is, for me, that is a boundary. You get by 8 p.m. people that know me know that I sleep early. So if you're calling me or looking for me after 8 p.m., I feel you're looking for my trouble. Yes. And then I wake up early. So for me to be able to meet up with my schedule or my routine of exercising in the morning, it means I'm going to wake up early. So you see, I'm a balance. I am going to bed early to be able to wake up early to do what I need to do before it is time to go to work. So some things you just create a routine, and then once you create this routine, you know that, okay, this is my time. You've invested so much time on your work life. So what are you doing for your own personal life? So this is just an example. Whatever works for you, you can just say, okay, by so time, this is what I'm going to do. And you create a boundary around it. Like it's going to take a lot for you to go out of your way to break that. And then working remotely, you don't work 24 hours around the clock. So there are people that work in the morning, some people work in the afternoon, some people work in the evening. Even if you're supposed to work around the clock, which I know there will be break times or something, how do you use your break time? How do you use your free time? And then on days where you don't get to work, what do you do? The thing with creating work-life balance is we get so used to working that we feel that is our life.
That's true. That's true.
So you feel like I don't have any other life aside just working. But I used to tell people, always remember that your sanity comes before your job.
That's so good. Your sanity comes before your job. A lot of people need to hear this.
Yeah, so if you don't take care of yourself, there is no way, in whatever thing you're doing, if you're not at your best, there's no way you're going to give your best to other people. And most of the job, because it involves people. So you cannot pour out of an empty cup. You need to have a work-life balance. And then the work-life balance here, we're using it, let's just say it is a form of self-care for you.
Yeah, you had mentioned about creating a routine as well. And I think that personally, that's something that I've recognized and I've taken very serious. So anytime I find myself in a new environment, I immediately get to what my schedule is going to look like. Even if it's for 2 days, let me just know what my schedule would look like, so that even like within those 2 days, I can create a routine of some sort, so that it just gives me a sense of balance, and it has really been helpful working with a routine. Some people might think that having a routine it can be boring, but honestly, it has safeguarded me, from just waking up and then not knowing what I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do it. So definitely sticking to having a routine. So earlier you had mentioned something about self-care, and I just want to ask, what role does self-care really play in maintaining a healthy work-life balance? Because some people, once they hear self-care, the first thing that comes to their mind is either skincare or just staying in the bathtub and lounging for the whole day. But what role does self-care really play in work-life balance? And people that have busy schedules, like you have mentioned, doctors and bankers, even military personnel, how can they incorporate self-care into their schedules?
So like you said, people think when we talk about self-care, it has to be something big. You have to be outside. You have to spend a lot of money. You have to travel to a beach or something. But then self-care is just basically you do little things that connect you to yourself, little things that make you happy. As simple as a cup of tea is like a form of self-care when you're too busy to even make the cup of tea, but you were able to make a cup of tea. That is one. Then prioritizing your rest, like having small in-between naps. Maybe when you're done from your job, instead of you continue working all through the night, you're prioritizing yourself and then self-care, and then you're sleeping. And then having a healthy work environment. There are terrible colleagues, but they don't talk about them much. They talk more about terrible bosses.
Yeah.
So you being a good colleague too for yourself and then for other people is a form of self-care for you and other people, as people might not look at it that way. So it's not in the big things, it is in the small things. What is it that you do that connects you to yourself, like that makes you feel at your best, that will give you the strength to continue doing the job you're doing, that will make you happy doing it? So you just have to figure out, it's not a one-size-fits-all when it comes to self-care. Yes, there are some self-care tips, but it is different for different people. You just have to figure out what works for you, and then you stick to it. But it doesn't have to be anything big. You don't have to spend money to do that. You don't have to travel out of your home. If you have the money to do it, of course you can do it, the money and the time. It is a form of self-care. But you shouldn't say you're not going to prioritize your self-care because you cannot afford it. Self-care is in the little things.
Yeah, that's so profound. Thank you so much. Self-care is in the little things. You don't have to have all the money in the world. In fact, for me, there are some days I call my unproductive days. Like, I just stay at home. I don't step out. I don't do anything. I just stay at home and just read or just close my eyes and rest. Not necessarily sleeping all day, but like I'm awake, I'm alert, but then like I'm just consciously putting my body to be still and to just rest. And it has really been working for me. It has really been working for me. So now I want to ask, right?
Yeah.
How can you balance prioritizing your mental health and then your goals? Because like professional goals, it's a dog eats dog world out there, like especially in corporates. I'm not going to lie, even creatives, remote
Yeah.
workers, everybody. How can you balance, okay, I want to protect my mental health, but then at the same time, there's still goals that I need to meet.
Yeah, like I said earlier, you cannot give in your best if you're not at your best. So
Mm,
that's why having a work-life balance is very important. Of course, if you're having the rest you desire, or if you're taking care of yourself, you know that whatever set out goals you have for yourself, you'll be able to achieve them. It is why it is even important to set realistic and achievable goals.
yeah.
Because if you're setting a goal that you know it is going to be difficult to achieve, of course you're going to put yourself under undue pressure, and you might not have time to take care of yourself, to even have a work-life balance, because you have a set out goal you know that you want to achieve, but you know that they are unrealistic and they are not achievable, easily achievable. It is good to aim high, to have goals, but then have realistic and achievable goals. And then when you have that, you know that it is when you are at your best that you did do these things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. So that's really good. That's really good. Have achievable, realistic goals so that you won't end up being the one that is breaking your own heart by yourself.
exactly. Because if you're saying, okay, I have to finish so in 1 week, I know this thing is going to take you like 3 weeks. So why are you saying you have to finish it in 1 week? It's very unrealistic. It means you're going to put yourself under unnecessary pressure, working all through the night. And if you're working all through the night, you know that subsequent days you might not have the energy to put in doing the work, because you're tired, you're exhausted. You know, our body has a way of telling us that we cannot always have it the way we want it. So if you think you're going to work all through the night for hours and then you feel, okay, yes, I can do it, I can take all the energy drinks in the world, but then your body can just fail you. So you might be awake,
Yes,
but you
that's
might not
true.
have the same strength, or you might not assimilate whatever it is you're supposed to do. So you might end up finishing the task, but it is not your best.
Yeah, it's now be at the cost of your health.
Yes, at the cost of your health, and then it might not be. If you're lucky enough, of course, it's going to turn out well. But if you're not, which in most cases is not going to be your best because you've stressed yourself. So whatever best you were supposed to give at that point, you were not giving it. And once you're done with that, you know it's going to affect your health. You've not slept for days, mental exhaustion, headaches, and all of that.
Yeah, that's so good. So now we'll be speaking about work-life balance from the perspective of the employee or like from the individual. Now, I would like us to shift court to managers and leaders and executives. What advice would you give them about fostering, like aiding work-life balance for their team members?
So yeah, you know that you can decide to have a work-life balance, but if your work is not allowing you have a work-life balance, then that's where the problem is. So employers need to understand that whoever they are employing, they need time for themselves, they need time to rest. If you have an organization, you as a CEO, a manager, you expect whoever you're employing to give in their best because you're employing them to do a particular task. But if you're not giving them the time to rest, if it's like running an engine all through the night, you know it will get to a point. Let's even use a blender for example. You know you cannot use a blender all through it's running. Of course, it's going to blend whatever you want it to blend, but it will get to a point where it will stop. So
Yeah.
employers need to create a safe space for people. They need to make this that, oh, okay, yes. That is why some organizations, they have leaves, they have break time, they have weekends, they have breaks. So people just need to have this in their organizations so that their employers will make use of it. And then the employers too should make use of it, because some people is like making extra money. Why am I resting when I'm supposed to work and make extra money?
Yeah.
So making it a safe space for the managers, the employees, and everything is just creating the avenue to be that, okay, yes, I understand the importance of having a work-life balance. So this is how we are going to make it work. You're going to work so hours, or you're going to have these days off, you're going to have weekends, you're going to have this, and then you encourage, if there's an avenue for people to do that, then they will think about it, because that is why we're speaking about it now. If maybe they were not seeing the need to do that, you might see the need but you don't have the time to do it. Why it is important for organizations, for managers, whoever an employer is, to make these very available for people, and then understand that work-life balance is very important, because it is beneficial for the organization. Creating a balance, so it means that the people will be motivated, happy to do whatever it is they expected to do.
Wonderful. I think you even just answered the next question I was going to ask about creating a workplace culture. You've already answered that. And I think that one of the ways that we can see employers doing this is in like having hybrid working options. Like some people go in to the office 2 days a week or 3 days a week, and then work from home twice a week. And I think this was not even from the perspective of even prioritizing mental health. So I think it was because of COVID. It was COVID that gave rise to this hybrid work plan.
Yeah, it was as a result of COVID, and then we now realize that, okay, yeah, we can actually do this. We can actually work from home and then achieve almost the same goal. So people just need to understand this. But there are still organizations that you have to be in the office from Monday to Friday, but let them have their weekends. Let them just have leaves in between. They should have days where they are not working.
Yeah. That's good. So one final question. If there was a department in the workplace that should handle all these mental health related issues, what department do you think that should be?
For every department, most of the organization, all the departments are under the human resource, HR.
Yeah.
Making these things available, of course, if they have mental health practitioners in their workplace, you don't even need to have mental health practitioners in your place of work to prioritize mental health. It is for the benefit of all of you in that organization. So every organization, with or without a mental health, because bankers will tell you that, why are we employing a psychologist to be in the bank just to be a psychologist? But if you have systems in place where the HR will understand some things about mental health, why it is important to rest, why it is important to have a good working relationship with people, why it is important not to be toxic at the workplace, and all of these things, they make out these set out rules, and then people should adhere to it. So you don't necessarily need to have a mental health practitioner in your organization to know the importance of mental health.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So basically, it's education and awareness.
Yes, and then us as people, if you're aware of it, why can't you just tell your colleagues about it? Just let them know that, okay, it is important to do this. If maybe you have a colleague that is a workaholic or something, just by telling them that, okay, you need to take it slow, you need to take it easy, you need to have time to rest or something, you see that you're in a way helping the person's mental health. So you're telling them to take things slowly, to rest at least. Yeah. So
that's true. Thank you so much. That's been a really, really insightful time hearing from you. Honestly, this is very, very valuable insights. And I think that something that has even stood out for me is the fact that it all boils down to awareness. Like, you need to know, because if you don't know, you won't be able to make informed decisions. So more awareness, more education, more people need to learn. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Before we go, I just want you to share a quick mental health tip for this episode for the World Mental Health Day.
Always remember that your sanity comes before your job. Once you know that, then you're going to prioritize yourself, because your sanity comes before your job or anything you do. You don't even have to be, when we say workplace, it's not like the conventional office space. So whatever you do,
Yeah.
always remember that your sanity comes before that thing.
Very profound. Thank you so much, Sandy, for joining me on this episode. So let's keep the conversation going on all our social media platforms. You can connect with me, you can connect with Sandy. Just type in the name on whatever social media app you're using. So that brings us to the end of this episode. Do well to follow the podcast handles on Instagram and on Facebook. Until next time, bye.